What's going on, guys? DLegend here. Today we have a video where we're going to be showcasing the difference between Japanese OCG print cards and Korean OCG print cards, specifically Ultimate Rares in the GX era. So if you guys haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh content like this. Leave a like on this video and comment down below if you enjoyed the video as well. So first and foremost, we have these two Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingmans. So on the left here, we have the Korean version. So this is a reprint technically. So it's not first edition. Korean cards do have first edition distinctions that distinguish the different printings of the card, okay? So that's that. And then this is the Japanese version of the card, which does not feature first edition and unlimited. They just had one print run. I'm sure they had multiple print runs, but they never distinguished between first edition and unlimited. So this is Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman in Japanese OCG. Beautiful card. I picked this one up in Japan when I was there, and then I graded it, got a PSA 10, very happy with it. I also graded this one and got a PSA 10 as well, but picked this one up raw from a good friend in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, RPK Gaming. But as you can tell, there are some big differences between these two cards, and I hope you guys can kind of see them. So first and foremost, I keep saying first and foremost, but as you can see, the texturing is very, very different from the Korean version to the Japanese version. The Japanese version looks a lot more intricate, and there's a lot more texturing to it, if that makes sense. There's just more lines associated with each of the, like the light shining in the background there. And I think that the Japanese print looks a lot better than the Korean print. It's very interesting to see that this one just looks, I don't know, it looks really good too, don't get me wrong, but it looks so different. And again, we'll put them side by side so you can kind of see the differences in the texture. But yeah, aside from that, this has obviously the Korean logo for Yu-Gi-Oh! And the stars are very, very similar. They are both OCG stars. This one's slightly foil shifted down, so they make the stars look, it makes the stars look like they're slightly out of place. But yeah, that's the main differences between the Japanese OCG version of this card and the Korean version. Moving on, let's get to my, also, the Japanese version of this card, the Japanese version of Elemental Energy came out in 2005. I believe the English version came out in 2005 as well. But the Korean reprint version, or maybe just the Korean version in general, came out in 2007, which is very, very interesting to me. That's like a full 2-year gap between this and that. So I'm curious why that was. If you guys know, let me know in the comments below. I'm not well versed in that area of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I know there is a first edition printing of Elemental Energy in Korean, but I don't have an example to show you guys right now. Moving on though, we are gonna go talk about my favorite card. So this is Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. And again, I have the Korean version on my left and the Japanese version on my right. I'm very, very happy to have the OCG Japanese version now to complete my set for the time being. I know it's not a 10 for the Korean version or the Japanese version like the Shining Flare Wingmans, but I'm still a big fan of this card in Korean and Japanese. More so Japanese though, again, because the texturing just looks very different for this card versus this card. So we'll show you guys in a sec here, but it looks like there's just a lot of etching in the background of this card, which I don't know if it's quite necessary, if that makes sense. Like the Euro prints of this card look very similar to this. I don't have one with me. Oh, I wish I brought down I do have I'll show you guys in a sec. I'll show you guys my NA print, and it looks very different from both of these as well. But as you can see, yeah, lots of etching in the background. Very random. It feels like, kind of, to some degree. Whereas the Japanese version of this card, it just looks a lot cleaner. and it looks like these little etch marks are well thought out and placed in specific locations to just make the art pop, if that makes sense. So personally, like I just like the Japanese version a lot more. It's the original printing, obviously, and it just looks better in my opinion. It's a shame that this one got a 9, but it is what it is. And that's the Korean version once more, Japanese version for you guys. And I'll show you guys my North American print version as well. It's not, it's actually in my PSA like frame here, but as you can see, it looks very plain in background compared to both of those copies. It doesn't really have the same like etchings as either version of the Japanese or the Korean version. So let's compare the Korean version first. As you can see, there's a lot of random etchings that make it look, some people like the texturing like that. Personally, I don't. I prefer the North American print to it. And some will say that's just because I own this card, but it's not necessarily that. It's just because I grew up with this card, and I definitely saw a couple of copies at my locals, but just never had the money back then to grab one of these. This card's still like I bought it at peak for around 3.5K, and it's still around a 2.5, 3K card. So obviously wish I graded it myself to save some money, but beautiful card nonetheless. And again, the OCG version, it just looks a lot better in my opinion. This is the best version of the card in Ultimate Rare. Even better than Asian English if I had to choose. Asian English looks a lot like, it's a cross between European prints, OCG, and Korean OCG. Like I feel like a lot of people would say that Asian English looks like this plus this combined. So I don't know, I've never held a copy in my hand, so I can't really say, but I think that the Japanese version of this print, of this card, looks the best in my opinion still. So there you have it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, also let me show you some ghost rares too while we're at it. Let me just put the frame away for a sec. Don't want to damage my most expensive and treasured card, other than these, obviously. But also price differences. This card is very cheap compared to the English version. I think I paid 100-ish for this copy in raw near mint, and I ended up grading it to a PSA 9, so I'm happy with that. Again, it's just for my personal collection. I'm not going to move it anytime soon, so there you have it. And same with the Shining Flare Wingmans. I believe that the copy I bought in Japan, the Japanese version, was like maybe $60 US, something like that, and then I graded it, obviously. So in PSA 10 though, I think it's around a $400, $500, maybe $600 card. But moving on, let's go to ghost rares. Elements of Hero, Chaos Neos in ghost rare. So all these scratches that you can see on the case are on the case. The ghost rare foiling is actually really clean on this card, so that's why I picked it up. And I actually got a pretty good deal for it. Did a trade plus cash, and ended up getting this in PSA 9, so I'm happy with that. Centering is not the greatest on the back, but it's all good. Moving on though, let's talk about the Japanese OCG print ghost rare of this card and compare it to this. So as you can see, it just looks a lot, I don't know how to explain it. It looks like it's just one piece here. It's just one like layer of the card versus the Japanese print, where it looks like there's a bit more to it, like it pops out a bit more. It doesn't really pop like Power Tool Dragon in Ghost Rare, where it looks like the claw is like literally reaching for you, or Red Dragon Archfiend Assault Mode in Ghost Rare, where the same thing, the claw looks like it's reaching for you. But this printing of the card definitely looks different. I'm not gonna say better or worse because I don't really have a preference for the Ghost Rare, but they definitely look different. So let me know in the comments below which one you guys prefer. I think they both look good. This one, the background definitely shifts around a bit more, I'd say, giving it a bit more of a 3D effect. I mean, this one has it too, it just looks different. This one's more rainbowy, whereas this one is more, I don't know, they're both kind of rainbowy. It's just they look different, as you guys can easily tell as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments below which one you guys prefer of the ghost rares in Japanese versus English, and the Korean versus Japanese OCG print ultimate rares, and also the comparing that to the North American print Fling Wingman as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Again, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.